The National Legionary State was a totalitarian fascist regime which governed Romania for 5 months, from 14 September 1940 until its official dissolution on 14 February 1941. The regime was led by General Ion Antonescu in partnership with the Iron Guard, the Romanian fascist, ultranationalist, anti-communist and anti-Semitic organization. Though the Iron Guard had been in the Romanian government since 28 June 1940, on 14 September it achieved dominance, leading to the proclamation of the National Legionary State. On 27 September 1940, Romania withdrew from the Balkan Pact. On the 8th of October, Nazi German troops began crossing into Romania and soon numbered over 500,000. On the 23rd of November, Romania formally joined the Axis powers. On 27th November, 64 former dignitaries or officials were executed by the Iron Guard in the Jalava massacre. The already harsh anti-Semitic legislation was expanded, included the expropriation of Jewish-owned rural property on 4 October, followed by forests on 17 November, and finally by river transport on 4 December. On 20 January 1941, the Iron Guard attempted a coup, combined with a pogrom against the Jews of Bucharest. Within 4 days, Antonescu had successfully suppressed the coup, and the Iron Guard was forced out of the government. Horia Sima and many other legionnaires took refuge in Nazi Germany, while others were in prison. Antonescu formally abolished the National Legionary State on 14 February 1941. Precursors. The Iron Guard first formed an alliance with the Romanian government in early 1938, when the then Prime Minister Octavian Goga concluded an agreement with the leader of the Iron Guard, Corneliu Zelea Codreanu, on 8 February 1938 for limited cooperation. However, this political arrangement displeased the King Carol II, who dismissed Goga on 11 February and replaced him with Patriarch Miron Cristea. Between 28 June and 4 July 1940, Horia Sima, the nominal leader of the Iron Guard after the death of Codreanu, served as Undersecretary of State at the Ministry of Education. The Iron Guard was brought into the Ion Gheorghiu's cabinet, which took power on July 4, 1940, after the Soviet occupation of Bessarabia in northern Bukovina. 3 Guardists were appointed to the new government: Vasile Novianu as Minister of Public Wealth, Sima as Minister of Religion and Arts, and Augustin Bidianu as Undersecretary of State at the Ministry of Finance. However, Sima resigned on 7 July because he was denied a purely Guardist cabinet, while his 2 colleagues retained their posts. An Iron Guard supporter and ideologue, Nichifor Cranic, became Minister of Propaganda. Following Sima's resignation on 7 July, he was replaced by another Guardist, Radu Budasteanu. Territory and population. The territory of the National Legionary State amounted to roughly 195,000 square kilometers, or just over 75,000 square miles. It had the same territory as modern-day Romania, with the exception of northern Transylvania, which had been ceded to Hungary in the aftermath of the Second Vienna Award. It also possessed several islands in the Danube Delta, as well as Snake Island in the Black Sea. These have been part of Ukraine since 1948. A Romanian census was conducted on the 6th of April, 1941, and recorded a population of 13,535,757. Though the census was conducted almost 2 months after the dissolution of the National Legionary State, Romania's borders were the same. History. King Carol II was forced to abdicate on 6 September 1940 and was replaced by his 19-year-old son, King Michael III. The first act of the new king was to grant General Ion Antonescu unlimited power as conductor, leader of Romania, relegating himself to a ceremonial role. A decree of 8 September further defined Antonescu's powers. To maintain his grip at the helm of the country, while at the same time conceding the leading role to the Iron Guard, Antonescu had King Michael proclaim Romania a national legionary state on 14 September. The legionary movement, Char Iron Guard, became the only movement recognized in the new state, making Romania a totalitarian country. Antonescu became the Legion's honorary leader, with Sima becoming deputy prime minister. 5 other Guardists became ministers, among them Prince Mihai Sturza, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and General Constantine Petrovicescu, Minister of Interior. Legionary prefects were appointed in all of the 50 Romanian counties. The Guard was awarded 4 portfolios: Interior, Education, Foreign Affairs, and Cults. In addition, most of the permanent secretaries and directors in the ministries were also Guardists. As the dominant political force, the Guard also controlled the press and propaganda services. On 6 October 1940, Antonescu attended an Iron Guard rally dressed in legionary uniform. On the 8th of October, German troops began crossing into Romania and soon numbered over 500,000. On the 23rd of November, Romania joined the Axis powers. On 27th November, 64 former dignitaries or officials were executed by the Iron Guard in Jilava prison while awaiting trial. Later that day, historian and former Prime Minister Nicolae Iorga and economist Virgil Mageru, a former government minister, were assassinated. On the 1st of December, another Iron Guard rally took place at Alba Iulia to celebrate 22 years since the union of Transylvania with Romania. Antonescu again attended and gave a speech. After the national legionary state was proclaimed in 14 September, the Legion became the ruling party but had to share executive power with the army. The new legionary regime had a ritual basis based on the cult of the Guard's dead leader, Codreanu, and other legionary martyrs. Exhumation, public burial, and rehabilitation of legionary martyrs was retrospectively regarded by SEMA as the most important task justifying the Legion's accession to power. The exhumation of Codreanu's remains and subsequent reburial, 21st to 23rd November, reaffirmed Codreanu's charisma as the foundation of legionary ideology. On the day of Codreanu's reburial, the main legionary newspaper, Cuvântul, The Word, wrote, "It is the day of the captain's resurrection. He is resurrected as he promised, according to the gospel. He is resurrected, rising from the grave to present to us Romania itself, buried by this sinful age." A young Emil Cioran in his 20s strongly endorsed Codreanu's cult. With the exception of Jesus, no other dead being has been so present among the living. Has anybody even thought about forgetting him? This dead man spread a perfume of eternity over our human dung and brought back the sky over Romania. Soon after Codreanu's reburial, however, the Legion committed the massacre, killing over 60 former dignitaries. The Legion thus achieved its goals. The old order collapsed under its blows, and all of the Legion's enemies were punished. The reburial of Codreanu's body took place on 30 November. In attendance was Antonescu, Sima, von Schirach, Bola, and 100,000 Iron Guardists. The decree which established the national legionary regime on 14 September placed Antonescu and Sima on Eden Virtanen. On 28 October, Sima accused Antonescu of violating the decree by allowing democratic parties to function. He asserted that such political diversity was contrary to the principles of a totalitarian state. Sima also wanted to apply Nazi principles to Romania's economy in order to bring all of it under centralized control. He addressed a letter to Antonescu in this sense on the 16th of October, but the latter rejected the idea. Relations between Antonescu and the Guard reached breaking point after the Jilava massacre. Despite the mounting tension, the two parties achieved a truce for the moment, which allowed a legionary to keep the post of Bucharest police chief, but provided for the public condemnation of the Jilava murders. Several anti-Semitic decrees were enacted by the National Legionary State. Jewish-owned rural property was expropriated on 4th October, followed by forests on 17th November, and finally by river transport on 4th December. On 10th November 1940, the National Legionary State faced a massive earthquake, the strongest one recorded in the 20th century in Romania, which destroyed 65,000 homes. Outside developments. In early October 1940, 15,000 German troops were deployed to Romania to protect the oil refineries at Ploiești, which were essential for the German war effort. This unilateral German action, carried out without consulting Benito Mussolini, Hitler's Axis ally and leader of fascist Italy, prompted the latter to launch an invasion of Greece. The ensuing Greco-Italian War resulted in a military blunder, as the Greeks counterattacked and occupied parts of Italian-ruled Albania. entrance of German troops in Romania was not an invasion, however, as it occurred with Antonescu's approval. The first German troops arrived in Romania on October 10th, partly as a response to Antonescu's request for military assistance, in addition to their main goal of defending the Romanian oil fields. Romania subsequently joined the Tripartite Pact and the Anti-Comintern Pact on 23 November and 25 November, respectively. Despite this tightening of relations with Germany, the German minority in Romania, numbering 300,000 after Romania's territorial losses, was not entirely spared the process of Romanianization. While few Germans from Banat and Transylvania were repatriated to the Reich, the number of ethnic Germans from southern Bukovina and Dobruja who were repatriated amounted to 76,500. The German-Romanian Convention, which sanctioned these repatriations, was signed on 22 October 1940. According to the convention, the Romanian state received the real estate previously possessed by the repatriated Germans in exchange for paying compensation to the Reich. The newly acquired property, lands and houses, would be used by the Romanian state to accommodate ethnic Romanian refugees from Bulgaria, displaced in the aftermath of the Treaty of Craiova 25. On 4 December, a 10-year trade agreement was signed between Romania and Germany, providing for the economic reconstruction of Romania. On 27 September 1940, Romania withdrew from the Balkan Pact. That same day, a trade agreement was signed with one of the pact members, Turkey. On 19 December, another trade agreement was signed between Romania and Yugoslavia, another member of the Balkan Pact. During the last days of the National Legionary State, on the 10th and 12th of February, Britain and Belgium severed relations with Romania. Border skirmishes with the Soviet Union spanned across the duration of the National Legionary State. In the autumn of 1940, the Soviets occupied several Romanian islands in the Danube Delta. Frontier incidents occurred on a daily basis. Soviet troops were concentrated on the Romanian border. Soviet aircraft made incessant incursions in Romania's airspace. And, in January 1941, Soviet vessels attempted to enter Romanian waters by force. 27 tensions peaked in January 1941, when the Soviets demanded by ultimatum the control of the Danube Delta. Border clashes ensued near Galați, Coverlui County, where the Romanians were mining the Danube, during which between 26 and 100 were killed on both sides. Outside developments. On 20 January 1941, the Iron Guard attempted a coup, combined with a pogrom against the Jews of Bucharest. On 22 January, at the height of the rebellion, the Iron Guard carried out the ritual murder of 200 Jews at the Bucharest slaughterhouse. While the Guardists were singing Christian hymns, an act of ferocity perhaps unique in the history of the Holocaust. Within 4 days, Antonescu had successfully suppressed the coup. The Iron Guard was forced out of the government. Sima and many other legionnaires took refuge in Germany, while others were imprisoned. Antonescu abolished the National Legionary State, in its stead declaring Romania a national and social state. The suppression of the rebellion also provided some data on the military equipment used by the Iron Guard, amounting to 5,000 firearms, revolvers, rifles, and machine guns, and numerous grenades in Bucharest alone. The Legion also possessed a small armored force of 2 armored police cars and 2 Malaxa UE armored tracked carriers. For transport, in Bucharest alone, the Legion also possessed almost 200 trucks. On 14th of February 1941, the National Legionary State was formally abolished. Over 9,000 people implicated in the Legionary Rebellion were subsequently arrested, of which almost 2,000, 1,842 to be exact, were sentenced to various terms, ranging from a few months to life in prison. Outside developments. According to British historian Dennis Delatant, thus ended a unique chapter in the history of fascism in Europe. The Guard had been the only radical movement of the right in Europe to come to power without the assistance of Germany or Italy, and the only one to be toppled during Nazi Germany's domination of continental Europe. The National Legionary State ushered in Romania's Axis membership, first de facto, by welcoming the German army into the country, and soon afterwards, de jure, through the signing of the Tripartite and Anti-Comintern Pacts. It also did away with most of Romania's traditional political class during the Jilava massacre before being suppressed itself in January 1941, then formally abolished in February.